Trump just pardoned a fellow by the name of Troy Lake. This dude is out of Wisconsin. Uh, Loomis, the U.S. representative from the area, actually petitioned to the president to get him pardoned. Here's the deal. He didn't get sent to prison because he actually did a crime. Okay, he did a crime when it comes to liberal regulations. EPA did all this with Clean Air Act and, liberals and their green agenda that actually doesn't help anybody. He was put into 1 year and 1 day of a federal prison sentence. Then he was to be 5 years monitored. Now, the dude is 65 years old. They raided his business, fined him $52,000. Why? Because he was disabling these monitoring devices on older engines that weren't actually doing anything but being a nuisance. And they really are. All these little sensors and everything, they cause more problems than they're worth. All they are is for certain companies to make a lot of money on something that is a football bat for engines. I mean, that's really all they are. They're a football bat for engines. So I'm going to get into this. And hey, you can disagree with me. You can think that, these football bats that they now have attached to engines are some great and mystical thing that it's like the spaghetti god. But if you want to know what's going on with government, federal, state, or local level, hit like, hit subscribe. I'm going to cover it. Now, you may not agree with me on this, but I'm going to give you the information. And hey, I might give you the information that will cause you to go, well, this is why I disagree with you. Well, go ahead, disagree with me. Keep it civil, but you can disagree with me. I have no problems with that. Just don't lie. Be civil. Those two things. Now, let's get into this.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
Okay. This is coming from pickuptrucktalk.com. President Donald Trump has granted a full and unconditional pardon to Wyoming diesel mechanic Troy Lake, who was convicted last year of tampering with vehicle emission systems. Lake, 65, has served 7 months of a 1 year federal prison sentence for modifying and removing emissions controls on diesel engines, a practice outlawed under federal Clean Act air laws. And hey, it was a crime, so, he got convicted correctly. It's a law that I think needs to go away. So don't think that, hey, he did break the law. On the reading of the law, there are certain people that don't think that law is actually a valid law. But hey, that side of things. He ran Elite Diesel Service near Cheyenne, was also fined $52,000. He was released to home confinement in September wearing an ankle monitor. When news of his pardon came Friday, Lake said he was stunned and overcome with emotion. They had 6 years of federal scrutiny, beginning with the 2018 raid on their shop by the Environmental Protection Agency. Lake's ordeal began when EPA agents accused Troy of performing deletes, removing or bypassing pollution control systems in diesel trucks. Lake's case became a symbol in Wyoming of what many locals and lawmakers see as government overreach in regulating some small business. Hey, it's not just Wyoming. Senator Loomis championed Lake's pardon request in Washington, calling his prosecution part of Biden administration's weaponization against working Americans. Though the EPA raid happened during Trump's presidency, criminal charges were not filed until 2022, Loomis said. Lake was punished simply for keeping diesel engines in school buses, ambulances, and fire trucks running in our tough western weather. Loomis personally urged Trump to pardon Lake and later introduced legislation to decriminalize the work of diesel diesel mechanics who perform emissions modifications. Calling to tell him tonight that he had been pardoned by President Trump was truly a joyous moment, he said in a statement, or she said in a statement. Wyoming House Speaker Chip Neiman also praised the decision, thanking Trump for doing the right thing and standing up for victims of government overreach. Lake said he wants to use his experience to advocate for reform, urging regulators and the diesel industry to find practical, affordable ways to meet emission goals without crippling small operators. We need to sit down and think about a more logical way of doing it, not putting people out of work, he said. His friend and political consultant Jeff Daugherty, who worked pro bono to support the family's case, said the pardon shows that everyday people won today. For Lake's ordeal began with federal raid in 2018 and ended with the president's pardon in 2025, has been transformative. Now, this is a court. Okay. He was sentenced after pleading guilty to conspiring to violate the Clean Air Act by disabling the monitoring components of the emission control system on hundreds of heavy duty commercial trucks throughout the country. Okay, he was not the only person, by the way. While Elite Diesel Services is one of them, they've also got listed Andrezzi Diesel, a Bolivar, Missouri, Pro Diesel in Des Moines, Iowa, McDermott Sales and Service in Wisconsin, Haynes Repair in Seneca, Kansas, Crossroads Repair in Jamestown, North Dakota, ATP Field Services, Fort Lupton, Colorado, Beatty Body Works in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and Perkins Diesel in Stafford, Missouri. So it was a massive raid, and these charges, it was all these companies got fined, people went to jail or went to prison, all that. Here's where the problem is. The mechanical parts of the motor that these mechanics work on usually are doing fairly decent. Yeah, they break down like any other mechanical thing. But the biggest problem that a lot of these mechanics see, and I've talked to mechanics all over the nation, it's the sensors, it's all the things connected to it. That shuts down the engine far more and is far more expensive than any fix on the engine at all. These emission systems are, like I described it, a football bat. What's going on is that these companies are doing what is necessary to help their customers actually do what needs to be done. Buses are being shut down, not because they're not mechanically sound, but because the emission systems themselves are these cheap little things that are expensive. They're cheap to actually make, but the companies have monopolized the whole system in such a way that they can sell them at high prices. Why? Because, well, most of the time they're made in China. They're made cheaply with cheap parts. Probably cost a few cents to make, but they cost thousands of dollars to buy. It gets ridiculous really quickly. These sensors fail. Most of the time, the sensors are what's failing. Nothing to do with the motor itself. So, which would you rather do? Waste money on trying to replace something that's just going to break again in a few months? And yes, that actually is the case. I've got a friend of mine that has told me, he's a mechanic. He said he's got this one person that keeps coming in, and it was like over a 2 year period, they finally sold their vehicle. Why? Because they continuously had to replace the emissions system. Wasn't that anything was wrong with the engine, wasn't that it was acting up or coughing out anything that these liberals claim is coming out of these engines. No. What happened is that the emission systems kept failing. But they're wanting to put people in prison because these emission systems are a scam, but they're getting kickbacks because of it. This is what's going on across this country. So you can think that this was a good thing. Oh, he went to prison because he broke the law. Well, yeah, he did break the law. Everybody knows that it's the law. Okay, fine. And the president, at the same time, did the right thing in freeing somebody who was doing the actual work because these emission systems are a scam. That's all it is. It's a whole scam system set up to make the Democrat rich folks be a little bit richer. That's all it is. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.